Hey everybody, my name is Annie Bradley, and I am a third grade teacher at Palmyra Area School District. This past year was my first full year, so this will be my second coming up, and I absolutely love it. I'm in the STEM program, the STEM Masters program, because I really think it's essential for our students to go through school and be able to utilize the different STEM skills, since that's what their future and their jobs will be in the future. So I think it's super important to be able to effectively teach our students how to use these different STEM skills in the classroom. Outside of teaching, I love to spend time with my friends. I'm also a runner, so I like to run and work out and exercise. I love dogs. I have two golden retrievers. I went to Lebanon Valley College, and my favorite cartoon character is Mickey and Minnie Mouse. I love Disney. I also currently tutor online in my free time, and I teach at a company called VIP Kid. And I teach English directly one on one to students online, which is a lot of fun. So, my operational definition of STEM, I kind of looked in the book, the STEM lesson essentials, and I also looked in the Cultivating STEM Identities to come up with my own definition. So I believe that STEM is an approach to learning that integrates science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which promotes critical thinking and creates relevant experiences for students. So STEM in the classroom. I actually did have to create a STEM lesson plan, and I did get to implement it in my third grade classroom, which was really cool. So I did a fidget spinner challenge, and the ways that it incorporated some different aspects of STEM were that in math we talked about time, graphing, and does weight affect the speed of how something spins. And then in science, we looked at rotation and axle, how things spin, and then the speed. Technology, they actually took their results and they graphed them on a computer. And it also had some real world application because we talked about how tires spin on a car and how that weight affects the speed of things. So basically, what they did was they had stopwatches and they would see how many times it would spin in a certain amount of time, and then we would put all of our results together and we graphed them and we talked about them, and we also saw how they were affected when weight was part of the category. Referencing the book on page 38 with the connection chart with the STEM practices. For the science and engineering, it really connected to the analyzing and interpreting data. Like I said, once students found the data, they had to go in and they graphed it, and also being able to obtain, evaluate, and communicate information, because they did then share this with others. And then for the mathematics section, making sense of problems and persevering solving them, because I really let them with the question, does weight affect how something spins, the speed of the spinning? And so they had to make sense of that, and they had to persevere in solving that specific problem. And then the technology, learn how to use technology as it's available, since they did have to then graph their results on the computer. Personally, I think STEM is important because it is creating jobs for our future. Just like in the National Academics of Science, Engineering, and Medicine video, they talked about how it's so important that we have scientific advice from experts, and they're creating innovative civilizations. And then Neil deGrasse also talked about how we need to make sure we're creating students who can do this, and they have jobs that can provide for our futures, and so students do not trail behind in our future. He also made a really interesting point that even if students aren't using one thing they learned in math or science, their brain is then wired to go down that path. So they could use it in the future if they need it to. And then lastly, my personal goals for this class are just how can I incorporate more STEM into everyday lessons for my third graders, and to learn more about STEM practices and see more of it in action so that hopefully I can then implement more. I also think it'd be interesting to see how STEM plays a role in literacy as well.